Wife receives husband's DNA test results and screamed, "I knew it." Mandy thought that getting a DNA test would be a great gift for her husband Joshua, who has never known his biological family. However, Joshua's initial feelings towards the idea were not very favorable, and she decided to ignore him and do the DNA test anyway. Mandy took samples from Joshua's toothbrush without his knowledge and sent them in for a DNA test. She felt equal parts excited as guilty, but she had a burning desire to know about Joshua's origins. Mandy had been wondering if she did the right thing by going through with the DNA test, but always comforted herself with the idea of what amazing things could be revealed about Joshua this way. When the results came in, Mandy's eyes went wide and she started screaming. Mandy remembered how long she had been with Joshua and how they already had 2 children. But they didn't know who Joshua's real parents were. Joshua was adopted by birth by his family and was raised in a loving environment and was taught to never judge people by their background. He was accepted at a great college as a finance student and never wanted for much. Joshua pursued his goals and took every opportunity he was given, but knew something was missing until he met Mandy. Joshua and Mandy's marriage was peaceful and didn't have many shortcomings due to Joshua's stable financial life. Joshua and Mandy had a hard time finding presents for each other because they already had whatever they desired. But Mandy found the perfect present on a website that listed unconventional gifts. Mandy can't believe Joshua because she didn't know his past and didn't think he was being honest. Joshua's biological family was almost completely obscure, but Mandy felt that he actually cared about his ancestry. Mandy couldn't stop wondering how on earth Joshua didn't want to know more about his past. She was sure every single person would love to know more about their past. Mandy decided to give Joshua a DNA test as a gift, and she looked for the ultimate, most complete and reliable test. She secretly took Joshua's samples and sent them to the lab, and soon she'd receive results revealing Joshua's heritage. Mandy could barely contain her excitement for Joshua's Christmas present. She believed it was the most thought-out, smart, and perfect gift she could ever give Joshua, and he started to believe it, too. When Christmas arrived, everyone gathered around the presents and started opening their gifts. Joshua looked at Mandy and began unwrapping his present, while Mandy clasped her hands together in excitement. Joshua silently looked at his gift and listened to Mandy explain it to him, but his face was far from happy. Joshua thanked Santa, told his children to go play with their new toys, and then went to talk to Mandy alone. Joshua looked at his gift a bit more and listened to Mandy explain it to him, but his face was far from happy. After a few moments of silence, Joshua finally spoke. He hesitated, saying he didn't want to know more about his love, but Mandy wouldn't give up. Mandy promised her husband that she would respect his privacy and get rid of the DNA test, but she was thinking something very different. She wanted to find out all the truth about his past. The only problem now was Josh's attitude. She had to come up with a new plan to collect the samples without him knowing. According to the documentation provided by the medical institution, Mandy needed to collect saliva samples, skin cells, nail clippings, and some hair. She came up with the strange idea of a lifetime to collect the saliva samples by challenging Josh to catch a little ball covered with plastic. Mandy called the medical center the next morning to inform them that her husband's test results are on their way. Feeling guilty was completely normal for her, because hiding something from someone who cares about you is not easy at all. Mandy felt guilty for picking up all the samples from her husband and started the DNA testing process. Josh was happy that his wife respected his point of view, and Mandy knew that she couldn't cancel the test results getting to her anymore. Mandy was convinced to don't open the test results, but one day she got a pop-up notification on her phone and she couldn't help herself. She clicked on the notification and the results were right in front of her. The medical office sent Mandy an email with many details about her test results. She only looked for a name. She didn't care about where his ancestors were from, she only wanted to know the name of his closest relatives. The DNA test would provide information about his husband's parents. Mandy found the name she was looking for and immediately recognized the name. She went straight ahead to their profile to try and add them as a friend and discovered that she and that woman were friends on Facebook. Josh heard Mandy screaming and ran upstairs confused and anxious. He couldn't believe what his wife did behind his back and sat in silence for at least 10 minutes before asking, "Who is she?" Mandy found a woman named Estelle on Facebook, and after a long conversation with Josh, they decided to call Estelle over and clear everything up. When Josh opened the door to Estelle, they recognized the look of joy and blaze in her eyes and realized that this man was his son. Josh got to meet a lot of new families and managed to forgive his mother for leaving him at the orphanage. He felt completed as a person, and Estelle was happy that she could fix this mistake.